To be a Christian is to have the joy of a vision and responsibility bigger than yourself. That's one way of summarizing the sermon from last Sunday as we looked at Daniel chapter 9. All of us, as we walk through life, have our own individual concerns, needs, troubles. Each one of us is an individual before God. And one of the challenges as we live life is that our individual needs, problems, challenges can become so overwhelming, or we can just sort of lose sight of what's going on around us. But what Daniel 9 reminds us is that the joy of being a Christian is that I get to have a vision bigger than myself and a responsibility bigger than myself, which actually means I can lean on others in times of need, but also I have the joy of not just caring about what's going on in my life, but caring about what God's doing in the world, how He's helping His people to flourish, how He's fulfilling His covenant promises to build His kingdom and extend His glory throughout all of the earth. And so I hope you're motivated this week as you think about how you don't avoid or neglect your own individual concerns and troubles, but how you carry those as part of a greater people and how you begin to care about the flourishing of God's people and the fulfilling of His promises. And I want to remind you one simple way we do that each weekday is to gather to pray together from 7 to 7:30 each morning of the week. We host a prayer gathering at Coram Deo in the library, and we love to pray together for what God's doing in our church and for the extension and growth of His kingdom in the world. We actually use the Lord's Prayer many times as a basic pattern for how we pray together during that 30 minutes. And so if you haven't joined us for that, I want to invite you to. If you do join us on a regular basis for that, thanks for taking responsibility for the flourishing of God's people in the world through prayer. We've got 3 more weeks in the book of Daniel, and then we're at Easter Sunday. Looking forward to that. Hopefully the weather has finally turned a corner and we're heading now into the spring, and so it'll be fun to gather on Easter and worship God with you. Be sure to consult your email for the times and the particular events around Easter weekend. And until next week, that's all. I'll see you next week for another weekly update.